Athens, 5th century BCE, a city at the height of its glory. The Parthenon stands tall, democracy thrives, and great minds emerge. But beneath the brilliance lies unrest, wars, ambition, and unexamined lives. In this world, a barefoot man walks the streets, asking dangerous questions. His name is Socrates. Socrates was born in 470 BCE in the Deme of Alopece, Athens. His father, Sophroniscus, was a sculptor. His mother, Phaenarete, a midwife. Little is known of his youth, but his humble origin shaped his view of wisdom, not as a gift of the elite, but a pursuit of every soul. Some say Socrates inherited his father's skill with stone, but he chose to sculpt not statues, but minds. His life was one long dialogue, chiseling away at falsehoods, exposing contradictions, and crafting clarity from confusion. He was not a handsome man, broad-nosed, barefoot, and often disheveled. But those who spoke with him quickly forgot his appearance. His mind pierced like no other. "I know that I know nothing," he famously said. In that ignorance lay true wisdom. Unlike other philosophers, Socrates wrote nothing. His legacy survives through his students, especially Plato. His weapon was the question, asked not to trap, but to reveal. This method, the elenchus, sought contradictions to uncover truth. At Delphi, the oracle proclaimed, "No man is wiser than Socrates." Bewildered, Socrates set out to disprove it. He questioned politicians, poets, and craftsmen. All claimed knowledge they did not have. In exposing their ignorance, he confirmed the oracle's words. People began to fear Socrates. He embarrassed powerful men in public. He undermined false wisdom. His questioning was not just academic. It was disruptive. "The unexamined life is not worth living," he said. But few welcomed examination. Socrates had no formal school. His classroom was the agora. His students, whoever would listen. Young men, drawn by his intellect and freedom of thought, followed him. Among them, Plato, Xenophon, Alcibiades, each would shape history. To Socrates, virtue was the highest good. Wealth and power meant little if the soul was corrupted. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. Ethics was not taught, it was lived. Though he lived in the birthplace of democracy, Socrates was no blind admirer. He warned against mob rule and the illusion of choice. Democracy, he implied, without wisdom, is no different from tyranny. These views did not win him friends. Socrates owned little. He ate simply, wore the same clothes year-round, and rejected luxury. His poverty was voluntary, a choice that freed him from distractions. His wealth was wisdom. Not all were followers. Some saw him as a corrupter, but to others, he was a beacon. Plato would later write dialogues with Socrates as the central voice. Through these, his method and ideas would echo across millennia. War changed Athens. The Peloponnesian conflict weakened its spirit. Paranoia spread. As the city looked for scapegoats for its decline, free thinkers like Socrates came under suspicion. In 399 BCE, Socrates was formally accused impiety toward the gods of the city and corrupting the youth. But his true crime was questioning power, exposing ignorance, and refusing to conform. In a court of 501 citizens, Socrates stood not as a repentant man, but defiant. He could have begged for mercy, but chose instead to defend philosophy itself. "I do not think I know what I do not know," he told them. He argued not for his life, but for the life of the soul. He warned the jury, by silencing him, they would harm themselves more than him. If you kill me, you will not easily find another like me. The jury found him guilty, 280 to 221. Asked what punishment he proposed, Socrates said he deserved to be rewarded. Ultimately, they chose death by hemlock. But the soul of Socrates remained undefeated. In prison, Socrates remained composed. Friends urged him to escape, but he refused. One must never do wrong, even in return for wrong, he said. He chose law over life. Surrounded by friends, Socrates drank the poison calmly. "Crito, we owe a cock to Asclepius," he said. A final thank you to the god of healing, perhaps for curing him of life. Plato was deeply affected. But grief turned to resolve. He would preserve Socrates' voice, shaping philosophy for centuries to come. Through Plato, Socrates became immortal. Socrates' method influenced logic, ethics, politics. The Socratic method is still used in law, education, and science. He taught the world how to think, not what to think. In every age, Socrates lives again, wherever truth is questioned and authority held accountable. His life reminds us that philosophy is not safe. It is dangerous and necessary. To admit ignorance is not weakness, but strength. Socrates showed that wisdom begins when certainty ends. This humility is the foundation of learning. Socrates was spiritual, but not bound by dogma. His demon, an inner voice of conscience, guided him. In an age of rituals, he trusted reason and divine intuition. Without Socrates, there would be no Plato. Without Plato, no Aristotle. Without them, no Western philosophy. He is the root from which the tree of thought grew. Even today, the stones of Athens seem to whisper his questions. What is justice? What is the good life? Who are you, really? They are ancient and eternal. He did not write books, lead armies, or rule cities. He only questioned, and yet he changed the world. A life examined, he taught, is the only life worth living. Socrates paid the ultimate price for truth. But he proved that death is not the worst fate. Living untruthfully is. His death gave philosophy a martyr, and the world a mirror. In every teacher who asks why, in every student who dares to challenge, in every soul who seeks to know rather than to believe, there Socrates lives. Socrates, the voice of philosophy in a silent world. In his silence, he spoke louder than tyrants. In his death, he breathed life into thought. His voice still echoes, asking, always asking.